Hi, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Zita's Healthy Beginnings World of Women podcast. Today is January the 31st. Can you believe it? That we're at the end of January already. Where did the month go? Anyway, we're all aware that we're in 2023 and the time now is also ticking, and we're moving along. And talking about moving along, I wanted us to talk a little bit today about our New Year resolutions. I believe that all over the world, when come time for a new year, when we're coming to the end of a year, people will kind of decide what they want to do, what their expectations are for the new year. And I know that most of us, if not everybody, had their own New Year resolutions at the end of December. And I know that we are 1 month into the new year. So we have 11 more months to make another resolution. And some of us might have made 1, 2, 3, up to 10 or more resolutions and started 1st of January. They wanted to implement it. And seriously, I believe that most of us really have good intention when it comes to making more new resolutions, taking new steps, bettering their own lives. It could be in so many different areas. It could be physical. People want to get healthier. Others might want to really make their family more friendly environment, connect with family members, especially those they haven't talked to in years. And they feel that, going into the new year, they want to do that. Some of us will look at their own businesses and see, the areas that they needed more improvement. And they take those steps, at the beginning of the year. And that is usually January, moving forward. And I know some other people also take steps like moving away from wherever they're living, or even doing a renovation of the homes or wherever they live. Or some people decide to take a trip, to visit other cities, other states, or even go to another country or continent. These are all New Year resolutions we all take. Some might change jobs, others will kind of leave their jobs to get into entrepreneurship. And some people start school, others will be finishing school and committing to making that happen. People like me. But in all of that, it just does not happen like that. I just want us to, just think through it and just be honest with ourselves. We all have all these wonderful resolutions starting January 1st. Actually, some people might decide to start going to church. Those of them who feel they have slacked in going to church or being more faithful to their partners, whatever that may be that you have decided to do for yourself, you started January 1st. And that's when the clock starts ticking. And one thing I have observed from friends, from family, even from my own self, is that whatever commitment anybody has made or decided to make in terms of new resolutions in a new year, that it is really an awesome thing to do. It's a noble, activity. And in order for one to really accomplish their goal in terms of, taking new resolutions, one will have to be aware of what that is, that you will know where you are before you move forward into making new steps, whatever that step is. And you would know why you want to do that. Why do I want to get healthier? Probably because in the previous year, I didn't do such a good job to really take care of myself. Probably eating healthier, drinking more, engaging in more physical activities, really, getting some fresh air, following up with doctor's appointments, whatever that is, and you want to actually do it better in the new year. And like I said, so you're aware of it, you recognize that you haven't really done something better, so you wanted to make it better in the new year. And we are committed to it. Great, fine, awesome. The question is, when we commit ourselves to doing that, how do we really measure it? Because whatever that is not measured, you cannot find, you can't find any improvement. You can assess the improvement. So if you cannot measure find a way to measure whatever it is that you have engaged in the new year, the truth of the matter is it becomes so difficult. And what many of us I've spoken to friends, families, and a whole lot of my clients. One thing that most people have come to acknowledge is that, yes, we get into the new year so excited, so, I'm ready to go. And within a week or two, everything falls by the wayside. Some of us, honestly, forget 50% of the commitment they made on the December 31st night. And by the time we're in the middle of January, the third week of January, most people have actually forgotten 75% of it. So you see, and this is really research. So you find out that at the end of January, like today, you only have 25% of people still committed to their December 31st night commitment. That is the New Year resolutions. So today I was reflecting on that, asking myself questions, making some research to find out why is that. You know why? Some of the reasons that have been identified are, one, some of us do not actually, when we say we commit to New Year's resolutions, some of us just say it. It's just a lip service. Some of us do not even reflect on what it is that we really wanted to change. Some of us that reflect on it and have identified what it is, we lack the steps to follow, because you just cannot say, well, I need to change, I need to reduce weight, for example, and then you don't know what are the practical steps. What do you do in the morning? What do you do in the afternoon? What do you do at night? What do you do in a day? What do you do in a week? And then in a month, how do you evaluate that? So those practical steps will really keep you on your toes. And you have to go back frequently to check, to ask yourself, yes, I did make this commitment. And one week is gone now. How am I doing? That's a good question to ask yourself. How am I doing with this? How is it going for me? The other one, we know people are not able to, that is part of the problem is, even when you're committed, you reflected about it, you put it down, and you with other distractions going on. Remember, when we say we're going to take these steps, to change whatever it is we've decided to change in the new year as a new year resolutions, remember that life happens. So you're not just focusing on just that. Other things happen. Say, for example, you live in a family that you have your kid, you have your husband, or you have your, whoever that you live with, you have mom, dad, you have other relations, and you have your job. And life happened, like I said. So sometimes distraction is the biggie. We get distracted every single day. Stuff are thrown at us. And we don't, some of them are out of our, out of our capacity. Sometimes we get really driven away by day-to-day struggle. Look at what is going on in our world today. We are suffering this inflation. Everything is expensive, and we all are trying to survive. So when one makes a commitment, especially something that will really cost you some money, and you find out that everything else is expensive, guess what? That's really going to impact your New Year's resolution. And by the time you know it, trying to, just make it, make both ends meet, by the time you know it, you're 2 weeks into your New Year's resolution. And before you know it, it's 31st of January. And then what happens? You look around and you're like, oh my goodness, here I go again. I haven't even done anything yet. And January is over. What am I gonna do? So what happens at that point is you're faced with, because a lot of us are like, you know what, since I haven't really started or done anything up until now, what does, it's even senseless. I'm just going to give it up. I'm not going to try anymore. And that is where that temptation starts. So when you have made your commitment, New Year's resolution, you have it all planned out, you have even, kind of laid out how you want to accomplish it, remember that life happens. I want all of us to know that whatever New Year's resolution we have embarked on, and most of us will agree with me, that life happens. And when life happens, please remember that you have to be flexible with yourself. Remember that you have to be patient with yourself. Remember that you're only human. We struggle every day to do our best. And that is so important. But remember that life happens, which none of us is in control, both external and internal. Some people may fall sick. Some people may have family members who might fall sick, and that might impact their New Year's resolution. So that's what I mean by life happens. So whatever that happens to you, please do remember that that is not the end of life, and that is not the end of your New Year's resolution. Because we are just, like I said, we are just 1 month into it. You still have 11 more months. And 11 more months is very promising. I will encourage you to stay positive. Just know that you still have time, that all hope is not lost, that life happens, and it happens to anybody and everybody. And that should not make any of us lose hope, especially when one has really planned something long-term. The other thing I wanted to mention is when we plan something long-term, let us look at some ways we can really break it down so we can see little trickling down results that might encourage us to keep going. So if you break your your expectations or your New Year's resolutions down, you look at first step, second step, third step, see if you're getting all those little progress. It makes one happy. It helps one to keep moving. It encourages you. You give it yourself a pat at the back. Remember to do that, no matter how little it is. And always remember that you're not the only one, that we're all of us are innate together. We all are human. Life happens to all of us. We plan things that we would achieve, but we also have to live with everybody else. But what is important for us to stay focused on those goals, that if I did not meet my goals yet, and it is 31st of January 2023, that all hope is not lost, that I still have 11 months to go, that I can still start right now as we enter February the 1st. And if you're in that category, just know that the rest of your brothers and sisters are struggling just like you. And if you're one of those that have really gotten so focused, gotten so determined, has everything, under your belly, and you're like, yes, I am really crushing it. Kudos to you, because I know there are few people, especially the 25%, that are under normal circumstances will say, yes, I'm going to do it. And under normal circumstances will say, I'm going to sacrifice as much as I can just to stay on target, with my New Year's resolution. So I am asking each one of us to take the time today, to think about our New Year's resolutions, to ask ourselves, what are those New Year's resolutions that I made for myself on December 31st? How have I, what has it been like for me? And for some people who have taken these resolutions as a group or as partners, say, for example, a husband and wife, or family members, I say, like saying, as a family, this is what we're going to achieve. You want to always stay in communication, with your partner or with whoever it is that you've committed, yourself to when you were taking this New Year's resolution. Just know that communication is key. It's pretty important that if you're doing anything with anybody, in terms of New Year's resolution, you cannot achieve it without constant communication. Frequently challenging one another, supporting one another, encouraging one another. That is the way people have really done it. And those who have really succeeded in accomplishing their goals have, they stick together, they encourage one another, they carry each other along, and they make it happen. Even when they fall, they encourage one another and support one another and keep pushing. This is for group, this is for family, this is for partners. For individuals, I will encourage you to look at if you have other friends, if you have someone you trusted that you want to share, your dreams or your New Year's resolutions, because you're really finding it difficult to keep going by yourself. I highly encourage you to do that, because when we really communicate with other people, no matter who that person is, as long as you trust them that they will encourage you. You trust them that they will keep you responsible, accountable for all those New Year's resolutions. I highly encourage you to confide in someone that you trust, someone that you care, and that cares about you. So, but all in all, just know that you are doing your very best. Recognize that fact. Give yourself a pat on the back. Once you've started, know that you're going to accomplish your goal. All you need to do is to stay on track. If you know you've deviated for one reason or the other, don't kill yourself. Don't really blame yourself. Don't really think that, beat yourself to death. It's unnecessary, because all that does is to make you depressed, lose hope, give up. We don't want to do that, because they say champions don't give up. They don't give up, so they keep going. They persevere in whatever commitment they have made for themselves and even for other people. Now, I want us to talk about one thing, and that is what I have found in my own experience, in my life experience, that has helped me to stay committed to whatever New Year's resolutions that I have, undertaken on the December 31st night. Before I undertake any resolutions, I always pray. For me, prayer is very critical. As a human being, we are all human. There are limits to what we can accomplish. Even there are limits to what we can accomplish as a family, as a husband, as a couple, as a community, as a nation. And so when we're looking at things, commitments, whatever that may be, I want to look at it as there's a higher power. There's a higher power that I trust that will pull me through regardless of the circumstance, regardless of the condition. And that higher power is there, understands how I'm dealing day by day. And it is only that higher power that will see me through. And making sure that I'm being realistic with my strengths and my weaknesses, and relying totally on this higher power, which is God to me. You ask your angels too to come, get committed, lead you through, because none of us can do it by ourselves. Not even as a couple, not even as a family, not to talk of community or a nation. We rely strongly on God to lead us, to protect us, to guide us, to direct us. And whenever we make commitments like that and we, hand it over to God, God has that, God got our back. So whatever we do, then sometimes we may not even know how we get through circumstances or situations, especially the challenging ones. But it is the same God that we're trusting and focusing and holding on to, no matter what, that sees us through. That has worked for me. It still works for me. And I know that it will work for you. Give it a try. If you're one of those people that are really still struggling with your New Year's resolution, just know that you're not alone. You're not alone in this whole wide world, that we all are struggling. But what is important is, who are you focusing, who are you relying on to really help you, to really support you, to really see you through? For me, it is God and God alone. So I invite you to sit back this evening, ask yourself some questions regarding your New Year's resolution. How far have you gone with it? How is that going for you? Do you think you need help? If you think you do, ask your higher power, whoever that is for you. For me, it is God, and they will guide you. Don't think that you can do it only by yourself alone. None of us can. We need to rely on our higher power. Acknowledge that we have higher power that can really support us, especially in dire situations, in situations that are so challenging, like we are going through right now. Our society today is unpredictable. And all we can rely on is God, our guide, our protector. And trust that God is going to help us, that God is going to guide us, that God is going to see us through all our New Year's resolution. I am so thankful that we have this opportunity this evening to talk about New Year's resolutions. And like I said, it's January the 31st. And tomorrow we start February 1st. If you have accomplished a reasonable amount of your New Year's resolution, kudos to you, congratulations. If you're still halfway, congratulations. If you're struggling, keep going. I know you can make it. I know you can. Don't lose hope. Don't give up. Giving up is not an option because we want to survive. We want to make it. And I'm talking particularly to our women out there. I know a lot of you juggle a lot in your life. A lot of you juggle family, you juggle kids, you juggle your husband, partners, you juggle rent, you juggle job, you juggle a lot. I really bow for you. And I want you to remember that all you are doing is showing. All you are doing, whether people recognize it or not, that the one who has created you and put you in this part of the earth is seeing it and blessing you abundantly. Don't give up. Keep doing what you're called to do as a family builder, as a society builder, as a community builder. It is not easy. When you think that you have a situation that is beyond you, please reach out. Reach out to us. You have our phone number. You have our email address. Reach out to anyone that you trust that can really provide you the support you need. Women need a lot of support. Men do too. And we know that as women assume more responsibilities in their lives, in family, especially, that they need more support. We can't do without support. And so I am encouraging each one of us to continue to stay faithful to their New Year's resolutions. And if by any chance, any reason, you're not meeting up, please look for solutions. Look for support. Look for someone who can really prop you up. Someone who really appreciates you, and connect with them. As I say again, here we are for you, to support you, to connect with you. And I pray that every one of us will accomplish their New Year's resolution as we move on into February 2023. So thank you so much. And right now, I'm actually opening it up to, our audience to make some comments, ask you questions, whatever. If you want to also put it on the chat, please go ahead. Feel free to put anything you want to ask on the chat or any comments on the chat. We must make sure that we answer your questions. Thank you.
Yeah, I think resolutions and goals are important to have to more or less to keep moving forward or keep us on more track of where we're going.
So what would you say to someone, Emily? Thank you for your contribution. What would you say to somebody, especially a woman who is right now struggling? For example, she's going to school, she has a job, she's really struggling to pay her rent and all kinds, and she has a baby. And struggling to actually meet her goals, the new resolution goals. What are you going to tell her?
Well, I just take a deep breath, focus on one thing at a time, and I guess first on maybe the most important things at the time, and eventually we can get to the other things, but yeah.
Absolutely, Emily. You're really right on. Yeah, take a deep breath because you need some fresh air, to really get blood circulating in your whole system, from your head to your toe. So if you're getting enough air going through breathing, take a deep breath. If you need to take more than a deep breath, please go ahead and do that. And just always remember that you're not the only one, that everyone else is going through what you're going through, although they may be doing it in different stages. Of course, we're all different, our challenges come in different sizes, but know that you're not the only one. Take it one day at a time. Do one thing that you feel you're able to do, and recognize when you have really achieved that one thing. Give yourself a pat on the back, because guess what? Whenever we accomplish one thing at a time, it really adds up. Don't think you're going to do everything at the same time. You get overwhelmed, and from overwhelming, one gets so, stressed out. Before you know it, you're having depression. That's not going to be helpful. We don't want that to happen. So please take it easy and know that we cannot do anything by our own strength. Ask, pray, reflect, meditate, relax, and know that God is on your side, and that as long as you're doing your best, that everything else will fall into space.
Don't be afraid to ask for help if you really need it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I just said that. I know that women are like,
Everybody's going through something.
Right, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And I know sometimes people think, especially women, we like to give all kinds of support services, but we find it very reluctant to receive. Emily, have you noticed that? Yeah, many people go through a lot of challenges. Instead of them actually receiving support, they prefer to give support. There's nothing wrong in that, but please identify your own needs. It's very important. Each one of us, we all need help, support at some point in our lives. So don't just think that you're that Jesus Christ, you came to save everybody. No, you still need someone else to help you. Be open, be thankful, be receptive. It's very important to all of us. So, any more comment or questions before we? Dr. Emmanuel, do you have any comment for us or question?
Yeah, thank you, Zara. Thank you, Emily, for the contribution. I've been listening to your program. I know at times due to my schedules and busy schedules, I really don't have the opportunity to ask questions, but going by what you just can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, going by what you've talked about, there's something you talked about at the early beginning. You mentioned, that we all go through stuff and we all look up to the higher power because it does what will help people through. See, which is so true. But if we really go back to the basics and know that man is a spirit being, you know, we are just spirit beings that are found in a case called body. And we have soul, which is where the seat of our emotion and our mind is located. You begin to know that when you know your source and you know that your life must be connected to your source. See, when you look at the creation, if you take fish out of water, it's not going to be too long, the fish will die. And we are here as a spirit being, and we know the higher power is, the father of all spirits, because every human being is a spirit. So it now shows us that we cannot live and survive in this world without connecting to ourselves, our maker. And that is actually the challenge we have today. Where if a man has lost the understanding or the focus of who made him or where he's from, that's where the confusion comes in, because today we're talking of evolution, where people think that they all migrated from being a monkey and then went to. Nobody does that, even in science. Likes give birth to likes. Monkeys will give birth to monkeys. So, and if we know that God created us in his own image and likeness, we are like him in our spirit being. And that is why the words we say have power. We can say, okay, man can be cursed, I'll be blessed, and it happens. Why? Because we have that power that God gave to man. We are the only creation that has the ability to speak. No other creation of God can talk. And because of that, we express ourselves in words. And he has expressed himself for us in his word, which we call the scripture. So if you look back to it, for those who really believe in it, he said that he is the tree and we are his branches. When you cut off a branch from the main tree, what happens? It withers and dries off because it's disconnected from the source. And so also it happens to us. The challenges of life are the things that will happen in life. But for you to go through it, you need the grace of God. His unmerited favor. And that grace is sufficient for us in everything we go through. The Spirit of God that is in me and you is what will give us that strength to go by, to struggle and go through challenges. And that is why when people do not have that vision, do not have that hope, because hope, for faith to work, there must be hope. Scientifically, it's been proven people die when they give up. When somebody is hopeless, even when they go through, people who have cancer, why do those who have good support family system and meditation do better than those who don't have any of these things? It's just because we are spirit being. And our support is more or less spiritual. That is why we can hold hands and we give support, because it's very spiritual. There is no scientific explanation of me, holding hands or touching someone will bring some consolation. No, it's very spiritual. And that is why man cannot survive in isolation, where man is, an animal created to cohabit, to be around each other. So when you want to kill a man, you isolate him. What am I saying is people who live in isolation, who really don't have the focus, cannot make that decision of, oh, I'm going to be able to do this. Because man is a spirit. If you take that decision based on your own flesh, based on your own understanding, you are not going to keep it. That's why a lot of people will make the New Year resolutions, because they are moved by what they see. But when you make a resolution that is backed up by the Spirit, then because their power is inherent, is coming from the inside you, you'll be able to be focused. You'll be able to keep it, irrespective of the challenge. So why are people not keeping to their resolutions? Because those decisions are made out of our own mental knowledge, out of our own, our feelings, our emotions. Remember the emotion does not reason. You don't make decisions based on your emotions or your feelings, because those things, they are very transient. You can feel good today, tomorrow you feel bad. So you don't make decisions based on your emotion. So a lot of people who make these decisions are based on their emotions at that time. So, but if you are making that decision, you make that decision by connecting with your inner being, which is your spirit, and that your spirit will connect to the higher spirit, which is your maker. Then you begin to see that you can maintain that decision, you can maintain that resolution. You see, let me give you an example. Marriage in our society is now being seen as a contract. But if you see it as a covenant, where you know there is a binding force, there is something that is binding you, you will go through the challenge, the turmoil. But when you see it as something that can jump in and jump out because there are paperwork, you see it as they're going to work. And that's why people, even before they go in, they already know they're going to come out. Now they're doing what they call prenuptial in agreement. That means we have to agree before we get together. So what am I saying? If we take decision outside your maker, outside your inner being, is not going to hold. And that is what we see today. Some people make decisions while they are drinking in the beer parlor. Some people make decisions while they're in the swimming pool, chatting with others. But with these decisions, something you have to make in your private place, in your connection with your higher being. Why? Because the forces of life will always happen. But there is a force that will guide you through it. So when you do it, in absence of that force, it ain't going to hold. And that is why he told us, the Bible said, made it clear, me and you are one. You can't do anything without me. Why did he say that? Because he created us in his own image and likeness. So if you want to succeed, you can't do it outside the source of life, the giver of life, the author of life. If we do that, it's just going to be a failure. Death is the answer. And that's why a lot of people are not able to keep to their New Year resolutions, because these are decisions, casual decisions made because on their own. But if these decisions are made, with in-depth connection of your spirit with the Father of spirits, you will see that it come to happen. Thank you so much. That's the much I wanted to contribute. Thank you so much for this your program. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Emmanuel, for your contribution. I really appreciate it. And there's no doubt about, what is going on in our society today and how most of us have really taken things for granted and really, taking decisions out of their emotions. And you're rightly, you're absolutely right. That you can't do anything out of your emotion, that we really have to, it got to be a holistic approach to our lives. And we must do what we do in that, following that approach. So, like I said, we all have, kind of committed ourselves and taking New Year's resolutions, 1 or 2 points or whatever or more. And I invite each one of us to, take a break and just ask ourselves, okay, how many New Year's resolutions did I take? Where am I right now? We're 1 month into it. And just consider the things we've shared. If there's any one of them that really speaks to you, I encourage you to honestly take time and listen to yourself, to your body, to God, and take some time and see where you need to make some amends, and just know that you can't do it by yourself. And just recognize that if you haven't really done a whole lot so far, you still have a whole lot of time in front of you. Don't give up. God is with us, and your angels are also guiding you. Just be careful, as we also are in this season that is not the most exciting winter tends to make people get inside themselves and not really able to extend, or open up. So just be aware of that. Be gentle with yourself and know that in everything we do, God is in our side and will always love us and protect us and see us through. So we are always happy to be on this platform, and this is made possible by the Transform You and the Disability Channel and PARC. And we are so excited, thankful, grateful for this opportunity. And we say that World of Women podcast is a podcast that encourages women to gather together and support and love and educating one another and challenging one another, actually, to be all we're called to be. So we're always here every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and we encourage you to please join us. If you're interested in doing any, presentation, you want to be our guest, please feel free to contact me or contact Emily. We're open, or even Kat. We're open and glad to have people come talk to us, share with us who they are and what they do. Zita's Healthy Beginnings is a nonprofit organization, as you all know, and what we do is to make sure that mom and baby are healthy and happy. We want to reduce the incident of maternal and infant mortality, which is really plaguing our dear country, the United States. It is also a global challenge, but we want to start here, make sure that all our women are getting all the help they need, all the kids are being taken care of, and all the young women who are planning to have babies in the future get the right education, the right guidance, so that they can have their babies, healthy moms. That's where, this is our goal. That's our mission. And we're doing that through doing education, advocacy, training the doulas who really help mothers and babies, who accompany them from their homes to anywhere and everywhere they want to go, looking for healthcare services. And we want to also make sure the healthcare services are accessible to especially women, minority women. That has been a challenge over the years. It is still a challenge today, but I know together we can make it happen. So thank you so much for coming to our podcast. And if you're going to be watching us or listening to us later, we appreciate you. And please subscribe to our World of Women channel. We have our YouTube channel. We're also on LinkedIn. We are also on Instagram. We're everywhere. Our Facebook is zitahealthy.org, zitahealthy.org. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Please come back Tuesday next week. Until then, have a wonderful evening and happy new month to you. Bye.